go to sleep, you know I gotta keep my eyes open. But I've been smoking, that's the reason why my eyes closed. I'm from a city where the sleepers never make it. Risk your life and they gon' take it. Have you stuck up in that time zone? Like I can't help but always think about that time gone. Too many people I done lost, I'm trying to find home. I'm from a city where the sleepers never make it. Risk your life and they gon' take it. Have you stuck up in that time zone? Can't go to sleep, you know I gotta keep my eyes open. But I've been smoking, that's the reason why my eyes closed. I'm from a city where them niggas leave you wide open. So if you move around, you know to keep that nine close. Too many times I seen them change, thought I would die for them. The loyalty that had me walking with a blindfold. Can't let these people be the reason I don't make it. Give them time and they gon' waste it. Don't appreciate that time gone. Like I'm just trying to make it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome everybody to the LaceUp podcast. I'm your host, Joe Lawler. I got my co-host there.
What's up, guys? Devin Donovan.
And we have our friend, Dev. You introduce him, Dev.
The first South Boston guest, Jerry Yanovitch. Welcome, brother.
I got dual citizenship, Southie and Charlestown.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
100% dual citizenship. I like that. I like that one. Yeah, no, I'm excited. We're excited to have you here. You know, we got a real old school city boy, you know, Boston, South Boston at that, you know, and so you're going to hear some raw truths or whatever. So, you know, hate it or love it. It is what it is. And, you know, Deb will hit him with the fire questions and we'll go from there. But it's not for the faint of heart. So if you're going to be offended, like I say all the time, if you're offended by anything we say, you probably should be, you know. That's a you problem. But, so, yeah, we'll take it from there, buddy.
Yeah. Jerry, let's get into, like, what life was like growing up, you know, in South Boston.
My life started off fast, but first of all, if I was born in South Boston, I was born Gerard Yanovitch. We'll get into the Gerard later. That was my alter ego. But so I grew up in the projects of Southie. I had 5 brothers and sisters, and my mother and father, and they did everything they could for us. You know what I mean? Everything they went out of their way to make sure we were all right for all of us. So my father was a Boston City worker at the time, and you know, in the projects during that time, it was like as far as I can remember, I had asthma, and you know, you get picked on by people too. You know what I mean? So that went on for a while, but then the busing came.
They're like, you loser, you can't breathe.
Yeah, one punch to the stomach.
Yeah. Look at this.
But yeah, then busing came, and then everything just, you know, that was like the adrenaline rush. That like when I had the asthma, they gave me this medicine. I wish I could remember Ventolin. I think the name of it was.
Prednisone also.
Ventolin, something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ventolin, absolutely.
I had nightmares.
Yes.
I thought the bureaus were coming at me and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't know if my addiction started back then or my you know, adrenaline.
Yeah.
You know, but as I started getting older, so now the busing started, and you know, it was chaos. Marches, motorcades, everything you could name it. We all went. Everybody brought their kids, their families, everybody. So that was normal for us. You know what I mean? People stolen buses. There was state police and TPF lined in the streets like it was a war. You know what I mean? And, but like someone like me, like I fed into that shit for some reason. You know what I mean? I don't want yeah. But plus, you know. My brothers and sisters never really had the, you know, addiction that I had. You know what I mean? So I was always the kid. Don't do what Jerry does. You know what I mean? That's what
Hey, Jerry, go on.
So as I'm growing up, you know, things were getting rough, and so we gotta go back. We gotta go to school now. And so the first school, Andrew School in Boston. I'm in the schoolyard like the first week, and then like 3 of the kids that were bussed in were trying to push me around and stuff. So I start fighting with them. You know, I'm fighting. The teacher's trying to break it up. I'm only 3rd grade, you know, but I was already at the muni boxing and shit, you know. So it turns around that I run home. I run out, and I run right down Preble Street. It was out in Square to school.
Yeah.
And I run right by the Rotary, and we lived on 9th Street, you know. Now my father worked for the city at the time, and it just so happens he was sitting in the city truck. So I run, Dad, he goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? So he, get in. So he gets in. He was on the way somewhere, and I was about to ruin it. So I get in the truck, he's berating me, he's yelling, you can't be doing this and that. We're going on marches and everything, and I can't go into school and have a fight, you know what I mean? So, not that was my view, but what I'm saying is, I get home, we get in the truck, but he drives over to West Roxbury. So we're in West Roxbury, where all the cemeteries are, this little teeny sized streets. And I don't say this to disrespect my father or anything. This is how the life was. So my father pulls up, and all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, the Edison truck pulls up this way. So the Edison truck backs up to my father's truck, and my father says, "Stay here, don't move." And my father gets out. They roll all the copper off the Edison truck onto the city truck. So we're pulling away. He says, "You've been on your first robbery." Right? I can remember this. He goes, "You remember like an elephant, 3rd grade." But so that's where it kind of got kind of a little crazy too. It's like my father wasn't trying to do that. He was on the way somewhere. He couldn't tell the guys, "Hey, we can't right now. Get in." You know what I mean? So he was he was a Mullen's gang. He wasn't one of the main shooters and all that stuff, but he was original Mullen's gang. Not original, but my grandfather all done. And so it was kind of odd. You're hearing all the other stories about what's going on. I get up in the middle of the night, I see things going on in the living room and stuff with a bunch of guys. And I was hallucinating, of course, coming out of my room. Not hallucinating that what was going on, but I was getting out, and then slamming barrels off and stuff.
Just chaos.
Yeah, so, that was all together. That was all busing and that. Yeah. And then my father would be calling the club because the Stanleys lived downstairs. Teresa Stanley was on the 2nd floor. Every time Whitey would come in, my father called him Mullins. The car was in the garage. So it wasn't like I wasn't around all that stuff, you know what I mean? And like I say, I'm a nobody. I'm not on here to proclaim that I'm some gangster or some tough guy. But when you see all these fraud podcasts out here and stuff, people lying, people saying they're going to give up rats, and then all of a sudden they got a rat on the show, like one of the main Whitey Bulger rats.
Yeah.
He's on the show bragging about how 2 women got killed in front, choked out in front of him. Yeah. But he's going to expose rats. Come on, man. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. And I think that's like what's awesome too is like, I mean, technically you got 3 different generations here, right? And like all people that, especially you guys, like, South Boston, Charlestown, like real deal, code silent. Went away, did the time, didn't tell. Like those are the people that deserve a platform to talk about what they went through and what it's like on the other side of it. Yeah.
Well, I think too, what you're saying, whether it's deserved or not, I think what it comes down to is, and I agree, with Jerry's sentiments, that how do you combat that, right? Like fraudulence or like or things that aren't true, or and it's like I don't want what anyone else has, right? Yeah. But like you don't get to fucking to bend the truth. You don't get to for when other people's lives are affected, or people that have lived that life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like I don't know. People sell their souls to the devil, when it comes to money, and we've talked about that before. I think we've all chased it, as kids and stuff like that, and it, kind of left a sour taste in my mouth because I see how it affects people and people what people do for money. Ruins families and like even just relationships in general. People are quick to when it comes down to it. People, it's like a rat race. At the end of the day, bro, I'll stay broke, right? I'd rather be broke and honorable than fucking have money and lose my senses. Because if you don't have
morals
that,
and all that shit.
See, that's what I'm saying. Honorable, whatever. I'm saying, growing up, you listen to these guys. Half of them ended up turning out sour. The other ones are real men. You know what I mean? And I gravitated towards a lot of the real men, just like the kids from Charlestown. When you find good guys and you're alike and you know each other as a good guy, then you get relationships. You know what I mean?
And it means something. It does mean something.
Yeah. So then, you got all them guys that made that deal during Whitey's trial, right? All them, the crew was his crew.
Right.
So basically, they gave them the same exact deal that they were convicting Whitey on right there on the stand.
Right.
They didn't change anything.
Right.
So they all knew what they all did. They just let them pile it on top of him.
Yeah.
And then they come out with these podcasts in the books, and what they do is they turn their stories so that it covers their tracks.
Yeah. So it suits their narrative.
Yes.
It sounds good. And what gets me, is for what it's worth. I mean, I can go down a rabbit hole with it, but I think we all share the same feelings when it comes to it. It's like. It's all right. People are gonna do what they're gonna do, but it's the people that people love that. People don't care if something's real or fake. They just it's like entertainment for them.
Sean Hicks got a book deal out of a complete nonsense nonfiction.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how people believe. That's what
Yeah.
people believe.
You ever heard of Sean Hicks before this, Jerry?
No.
No, never. Exactly. So if you listen,
We got a special guest, Sean Hicks. Come on
Yeah,
in.
I'd like to get
Hey,
involved.
that was the first thing he said to me. He's like, I'd like to get him in the same room.
Yeah,
with me.
yeah, what's that question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
Right.
You gotta ignore. You gotta try to ignore it. if you
Growing up
can.
with you never go near anybody's house if you have a problem. You can take care of your shit in the streets, and if you live by the shore, you die by the shore. So if you run the street and something happens to you, you don't want your family saying, "I want to know who did this." You know. All right, come on, guys.
No, they're good. They're good. They're good.
Good.
But
Actually, Jerry, real quick, we didn't introduce them, right? Because I know people are
We
gonna.
got Junior and Molly.
Junior, this is Molly Shea.
Yes, LaceUp with big dog people.
Oh,
Dogs
yeah.
are most of the time dogs are better than people. The loyalty is unmatched.
All right, Molly.
Yep, Molly's about to knock the set over.
Okay, there you go.
Wow, Molly's a cock block, huh?
Yeah, so that's the way I grew up. You know what I mean? And you're around real men. You know what I mean? And
What was the general consensus of or impression of Whitey, like around the town, whether you were a kid or an adult or whatever? He was feared, right?
yeah, well, he was a sick, dangerous person. Don't get me wrong. And then, you know, as you grew, as they were getting older and then getting into the street stuff and things go on and stuff, you end up having interactions. I actually worked at the Rotary Liquors for one time. And, they found out I was going to Columbia Point. I had a 25 in my pouch because it was crazy over there at the time. They would give you piles of pennies.
Yeah.
So they told me, you can't come here. You don't work here no more. But,
This is soft porn over here.
yeah, stop, Junior. Yeah. But the thing is, like,
YouTube, is this made for kids? Absolutely
the thing is,
not.
years ago when we were younger, as we're getting older and we're into the streets and stuff, and the chitter chatter of him being no good, and the old people would say, "Shut up, shut up."
Yeah.
And you know,
Don't say that in front of me.
yeah, but there was the first as you grow and you're not into you know all about the streets, and then you're in the streets and you're getting contacts, and then all of a sudden you're hearing these stories and stuff, and then it's kind of hard for me to believe that all them guys didn't think that he was informing.
Right.
You know, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes down to, like, you know, we say, I joke around and say, like, especially today with like fucking MMA and shit like that, and you know, you go out or whatever. I mean, I like to, you know, socialize, meet people and stuff like that, but you never know who you're gonna run into, and it's like, you know, people that say, you know, gay bashing or something, like they're homophobic. It's like, just be careful who you want to fucking be gay bash, because they might fucking. They might put you to sleep, you know?
Yeah.
It's like Sammy the Bull, like, yeah, he's a fucking stool pigeon, right? You know, we don't play guys like that, you know, but that, like, yeah, but we know they're capable, you know? It's just like, but it does, they lose, lose their fucking gangster card.
The law around him and everything else was kind of dulled when everybody started, you know, everybody kind of knew, but no one wanted to say nothing, you know what I mean? And I know them guys knew, but, you know, and, you know what's funny, though? I mean, the guy's a scumbag maggot, you know what I mean? But if you look at what happened at the trial, why wouldn't he have just stood there and says, no, you did this, that's wrong, and you did that, that's wrong?
You know why? I'd say, I'm no Dr. Phil, I'd say because of his ego.
He didn't want to be out there in front.
His ego, I think that he fucking, right?
He
He was on Front Street. I think his ego, and he was probably just stuck there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was probably inside fucking fuming and like, just like, in, I do gotta ask you this,
Stop.
I got a
Stop.
question about that, right?
Junior.
Yeah, she's all right.
She's all right.
So I said to Deb before, you know, and because we've traveled, you know, similar paths or whatnot, you know, certainly the same results. I say, like, with let's say Whitey Bulger, it's like, you know, for example, as far as him being a rat, right? Like, he got what he had coming, right? So it's like that's something that someone has to either live with or die with, right? So you know, that's your shit. And my thing is like being a rat. It's like that's played out. That shit. It's like, yeah, we know he's a fucking, you know what I mean, a fucking manipulative, you know, a sociopath.
Pedophile.
But the thing, see, and I said that to Devin. I feel like him being like a pedophile and being like, you know, in turning girls out and like feeding them drugs and like how many people's lives he affected in that way, you know, people's daughters, people's mothers, people's sisters, you know, like you said you grew up with 5 siblings. You know what I mean? I know that we come from the same cloth. You have the same morals and values. To me, that's what makes it more of a fucking bag of shit and like the devil than anything, you know?
Yeah. And then to see that other fool on that show claiming I've sat there and watched him strangle 2 women and bragging about it. I mean, come on, dude. You know what I mean?
Go bury your head in the sand.
Yeah. Well, and then, what did I say? Yeah, so that went all on, you know, and then growing up, and then the bullies in the neighborhood, and then, you know, we had some guys who would get in and out of prison. They were a little older than us and stuff, and so then that was my, you know, picking on people and stuff. So now I'm in high school. So I'm in high school and I'm hanging out and I'm going, you know how the Italians didn't like us going to the North End. And we used to have to fight them every single day, going to school, every single day. So now you're fighting, going to high school, you got to fight the Italians going to Columbus, you know what I mean? Rico Ponzo, Paul Tanzo, and who's the other? Rico Ponzo, Paul Tanzo, and one of them. But yeah, them 3 jumped my brother and sister at a dance with a couple other kids. So I ended up in a big beef with them. And I had a brand new Adidas jacket. I just bought the black with the button up, with the red button up. Yeah. You know? So through Columbus, I ended up having to fight all them. So I ended up fighting them, and it turned into a major thing, right? And I went to school that next Monday. It was a Valentine's dance. I went to school and I picked out who was in school, because some of them kids didn't go to school. I got the kid Caesar Luisi, that was the other one. I punched the shit out of Luisi in the hallway because he's laughing, and they're like, so I said, okay. So I started with him. I got
what was it, Paul?
No, it's Caesar.
Oh, Caesar.
Bobby's brother, nephew, cousin, whatever. Yeah, boy. Well, older Bobby was the
Was that like the beginning of the alter ego Gerard coming out? Was that the beginning of it?
It was almost that, but the thing is, like they were really like they were climbing the side of the school, yelling on the windows, "Yanovitch, we're gonna kill you!" And they're following the charter bus. You can ask anybody over there, you know. So it ended up that I had a hit out on me, supposedly, and I'm not bad from the North End, and you know. So this went on, whatever. That so then, as I'm getting older, one of the kids from the neighborhoods, he was probably known from the state, Packy, but he ended up. I was selling joints down the corner, and I was selling $2 joints, and this is where the other guy came in too. But I was selling joints in the corner. I had an older kid try to grab the bag out and pull it out. So I'm on 19. This kid tries to grab him. So one of his friends just got out of jail the week before, Packy Key. And he sent them up my house. And my sister was coming home from work for blows, and she opened the door, and he came off the roof stairs and pushed his way in. Now, like I said, my father, no one ever fucked with our house with me, but that kid didn't care or anything, you know? So he went up and threatened my family, threatened my sister, my brother, and all that stuff. And so that like, his crew were all a bunch of, like, I could name some names, but I'm not gonna. But they were all bullies, taking kids' coats like it was the can, taking kids' sneakers like it was the can. Like, it was a crew. They know who they are if they hear me. But, so anyways, something happened to him a couple weeks later. And so I guess the cops were all looking for me, saying that I had something to do with it. So I had to get out of town. I went to the Marines. So they were trying to bring me for it because he's the one that broke my house. So it turns out that shit like that, the bullies, you know, that's when I started becoming myself. I said, I'm not putting up with this shit. I was like 18. So at 17, I'm walking through the projects. There's a deaf girl there, and all the kids the kids from the crew I was just telling you about kind of hanging around here. But she was on the stairs one day by herself smoking a joint. It's 17. And I thought it was weed, and I went up and I said, hey, she's going like this. I'm not going to make a fun of her, but she's going, she's trying to write on the wall. Right? She was trying to write dust on the wall. I didn't know it. So I smoked the joint, and I went upstairs. Christmas time, I was in front of the Christmas tree and everything. My mother yelled to my father, and my father, oh, it was a mess. I got caught smoking dust at 17 years old. But I ended up in love with it. So that was all the chaos. That's when it really started, the shit in the fan.
So you hit smoked dust for the first time at 17
and I was going to school in Columbus, so I knew kids in Charlestown too, but we had it right next to the old, you know? And so when it was, I ended up hooking up over there, and it turns out that, like Joe said, you find people that are like just like you, so you find people that look like you.
Yep.
I mean? I wasn't 7 ounces of dust and all that stuff. The DEA says that I sold ounces of dust, and I was a member of the code.
You might have smoked ounces of dust.
Yeah, probably, yeah. just enough to make what I bought. But yeah, so a monkey can't sell bananas, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. I mean, they make up all these, if you don't cooperate with them, they're gonna make up a story on you, and they're gonna, they gave you statements where you go, I'm getting all discombobulated here, but. So after that, that's when the shit hit the fan. I started hanging around a lot in Charlestown, hanging around Southie. I'm all over here and there. And, little by little, things started getting worse because of the drinking, drugging, hanging in barrooms, selling coke, staying out and meeting girls, and you stay with these girls, and they have you as a hostage. And all of a sudden, the cops are involved. It gets messy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when all this shit started hitting the fan. So I never really harmed a citizen, you know what I mean? Never really, unless they opened your mouth or something, you know? So that's when Gerard came into play. So I go into the bar and I'd order a Jack Daniels. I'd say, oh, Gerard's here today. So drinking beer, I was different. But if someone said something to me wise, I'd just crack them for drinking Jack Daniels, you know? So that was the, you know? So, but that didn't, that's why I say I'm a nobody. I never have been because I was a drug addict. You know, I was a person that took care of myself, my family, and friends, and we all took care of each other. If you had that crew, you know what I mean. But other than that, it's just. So when I started, I got the podcast. That's why I come on with you guys too, because they just asked me to come, and I was like, yeah, awesome. So we all know each other. We all know each other's people and all that stuff, and so it's a good place for me to start too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And, I don't know where we're going. I'm discombobulated, but you want to ask me a question?
Absolutely. So, 17, you smoke the Dutch, you start getting in trouble, you start convening with these Charlestown guys, South Boston guys, and then what age were you when you picked up your first case? Serious case, you know?
My first case was possession of a firearm coming from Chinatown.
Wow.
And I was 20-something years old. I was at least 20-something years old. Because I was in the Marines, so it was, I went in the Marines in 2007. 1997.
Yeah.
So it was about 3 years after that, 4 years after. 93. 93 was my first case.
Okay. Wow.
So I did a year. And then, so I went in the Marines. I got out of the Marines. I was out 10 months. I got the pinch.
Yep.
I went and did the year. Another 9 months, I got the 6.5. So the whole 90s was just gone.
Holy shit.
So those are the only 2 major pinches I took. I got all those stupid beefs, after that, because once your name's out there and they had things down south, and sure they had in Charlestown, impact players they had on the board up there and this and that.
Absolutely.
So they chose who they were going after and stuff like that. But yeah, so that was my first cases. It was, a family member arrested me, so it was kind of a tough one, but they were trying to help get me off the street.
Yeah, right.
So,
You probably look at it like this every time, but.
Well, so that's why when I got arrested with the feds,
Yeah.
they didn't care about me. They told me right out, they said, we don't even care about you. We don't care about the Kid Bobby fans. We don't care about what happened. All we want is this guy, my co-defendant, and some other guys.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know any of that. And I knew Brian 18 days. But I knew Brian 18 days. That's how much I knew him, 19 days. So once we get into all that, and they thought I was the weak link. Because right away they throw a statement at me saying, you go home today to your kids right now. So I wasn't the weak link.
And what'd you say your father did?
We're in the police office. The Boston police dropped the case. They said they had no case. So as I'm walking out of the room, they come running down the feds. He's got a federal detainer. He's got a federal detainer.
That's right.
So it turns out that they bring me in the back room. And they should say, listen, you don't want to do this. Why don't you help us when you read this statement, you go home today to your family. So they had this plan before they even got to the courthouse,
Yeah.
So I said, I don't know that. I said, I wouldn't say that anyways. I said, whatever. They goes, well, we'll get you on the program. I said, yeah, I've been smoking dust and drinking, and I'm pretty fucked up. I need AA. They goes, we're not talking about AA. We're talking about the witness protection. My father gave me a phone. Shut your mouth.
That's funny.
Yeah, so then from there, it went to Plymouth, they're downstairs. Like, hey, Jerry, you got a lawyer's visit. You get downstairs. There ain't no lawyer's visit. There's 2 feds sitting there. I'm like, guys, see you later. Leave me alone. So instead of getting 2.5 years in the feds or the state, I got 6.5 years in the feds for not testifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they punish you.
But then you got Kevin Weeks and Johnny Monterano got fucking 5 years for bodies.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got 2 empty shell cases what they convicted me of.
Yeah.
Yeah, felon possession of ammunition.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's
So did they try to?
Sin.
What did you say? Empty shell cases. So
Empty shell cases.
that's what they.
The ammunition.
Wow.
It's pretty funny though that they had the Boston police unit there, the big huge truck with lights and cadets and everything marching looking for ammo, right? Not that the feds went to the hospital, spoke to the victim, and went back to in front of Kelly's Coca-Cola. Under a leaf, they found 2 25 shell cases.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was your go-to, the 25. Election.
So tell us a little bit about your podcast.
All right, so it's just basically starting off where I growing up, and my podcast I'm going to name the Truth Hurts, because I am going to put out the liars that I know about. You know what I mean? And it's only fair. It's only fair because of they're lying and like thinking that like they're great people and this and that. Like Bobby Louise and then they found God, and they all of a sudden they find God. They walk around with rosary beads and they're going to cooperate. You know what I mean?
You know what I say? It's funny you say that. I mean, like, you know, even when I first learned about like sobriety, you know, let alone recovery, but you know, they talk about a God, you know, a higher power, your understanding and stuff like that. And I say like, you know, sober or not sober, right? Like my God doesn't like rats. My God doesn't like pedophiles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, that has nothing to do with fucking being sober. You know, it's like yeah, I don't know about yours, but fucking my God isn't. You know, no, you don't get a pass on that. You know, it's black and white. That's why they say that.
Yeah.
Black and white. You know.
Yeah, so that's why I've started watching some of the stuff. Plus that King Rat from Southie there, that was one of his buddies. He became a new TikTok echelon farmer. He put out a show, and he's got a picture of my father on it every time. It was in his book and this and that. My father's probably rolling over in his grave right now. This guy's got and like I said, he was called Judah back then because 3 of his friends come up missing, and he sided with the white man to do it behind all of their backs.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your father was a part, you said the Mullen gang?
Yeah.
Was that strictly like a South Boston thing?
Yeah, they were fighting against
Well, explain to some of the viewers that aren't familiar with like the Mullen gang and.
Well, the Mullen's gang was Southie, you know, they were a gang in Southie, they were running the books and all that stuff, but they were a small gang, and then you had the McLeans now, right? Yeah. So they were at odds, and then Whitey ended up with the Cleans, and then they were both trying to, you know, this one was trying to take over this, yeah. So it ended up into a massive shootouts, you know what I mean? And so you had then you had the guy at the Mullins gang actually were like this with the guys from Charlestown. You know? They intermingled, you know. Yeah. We had a lot of my friends over.
Well, they say that beef started over a guy grabbing a girl's ass in a bar.
Oh, the Somerville, what do you call it? Well,
City Club or what? I don't know what it was called.
It was up
back then.
It was up at the beach. It was not the Southie War. That was the Charlestown McLaughlin War.
Yes.
But there's another kid on that tells the story, and he says that the Southie War started like that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But it started by a guy getting his nose bit off down Triple O's.
Really?
One of the Mullins gangs.
Yeah.
Got his nose bit off the Triple O's. They went down and then there was off from there.
And for the people watching that might not have grew up in that time, Triple O's was what, like pretty much across from where Broadway Station is, right?
Yeah, it was basically Whitey's headquarters.
It was a fucking dive bar.
Yeah. But so that was like and then he had the headquarters at the liquor bar. You know?
Yeah, where he won the scratch ticket or whatever.
Yeah. The other guy wanted, and they gave him the money to pay him over. Yeah. But yeah, so that was a whole bunch of shit that was going on there.
So what was your time like inside? I want to hear like
in the prison.
Yeah,
let's talk about the good guys. Yeah.
All right. So I get. I'm gonna skip over the House of Corrections. So once I get to the feds, and like I said, I was the second day. I wasn't staying in Lewisburg, but they send you, and then you class to where you're going. You know. Second day there, I see a guy coming down on the gurney all stabbed up. They pushed us in the alarms and all, and I'm like, look at this. Now, like I said, I only did a house pit before.
Yeah,
I mean, not that I was real white, but it was real fucking scary.
Yeah, it'll open your eyes.
So I'm like, wow, this guy's squirting blood, they're pumping him, the alarms are going off. I go, this is beautiful. You know? So anyways, I end up going to Raybrook. So I get to Raybrook, and there's a bunch of townies there. TK, my buddy Tony Gallo, and all them.
Tommy, yeah.
Magoo, Pat, not the other one.
Hoffa?
Yeah, Jason, Shay, Bug Job.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of guys. Johnny Murray taught me how to crochet up there. That was my hustle. But I crocheted dolls for people for $80 a piece.
No shit.
Yeah.
But my second day there, I'm still in the borrowed sneakers and the khakis that someone gave me, and I'm sitting on the pool table in the unit. Now, Carmen Tatora's over there, and the guys that in touch with someone, all that shit. So he's there, and a couple of other guys. Come here. So Johnny, the kid's from Southie, Johnny Marchioni. He was a tough guy. He was up there. Another friend, Johnny, passed away. Bernardo. So we're all sitting on the table. I'm sitting on the pool table waiting to go to shower. Now, everybody does hustles. People have ceramics. People have.
Yeah, everyone get a hustle. Yeah.
So the big tall black kid that ran the compound with booze and shit, his name was St. Louis. So I'm sitting here, Johnny's sitting here, and there's a pile of newspapers. He comes over and says to Johnny, I'm taking the newspapers for my ceramics. And Johnny goes, what? Now Johnny's hit the bag every day. He's a long shot, leg break. So he says, no, they're mine. I got to bring this to my quarter over the other unit, Carl. And he says, no. He says, I'm taking them. So I get off the table thinking, okay, this is going to be a beast, you know what I mean? And Johnny's like, Johnny didn't make a move, right? So I stepped off the table, and the kid turns around, he's like, this is Paul. You stand behind me. I beat him all the way to the corner. I took a broom and started smashing him with the broom. And he checked in the next morning. He's the guy running the compound. I'm only there 2 days. Right? Now it's Carmen Tatola Day. I shouldn't name whatever. He's there. You're starting trouble here, you sucking day. But I come to find out, there was some payments going on to them guys to protect certain people too. There were 5%ers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the New York guys used to say they were embarrassments over that. All the people that were up there from that other side, But anyways, so that was my second day there. And I was like, oh. So it kind of set a precedence, but we didn't have many beats because the car was big, we had a big car, and we were close. Yeah, 03, we were close with the New Jersey guys and the Philly guys and stuff too,
Well, yeah, it was the same thing, like Dev has heard my story a bunch of times, but in Allen with the same thing, I was with Stevie and Richie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couldn't have been with two better guys, especially as a young kid, I say all the time. They're like family to me because they took me under their wing, and they're well respected, they're gentlemen, you know what I mean? And they know people, you know what I mean? If you know, and it's like.
I had 2 New York guys that night come into my unit that didn't live there with 2 spikes, the sharpeners for your knives, and cut down and sharpen. They just put these into that after I banged up the kid that day. You sleep with these, sleep with your sneakers on, and try not to sleep, because when they crack the doors, you want to be up in the morning. It's okay. So I'm in bed like this on. Here we go. Doors crack in the morning, we all went out. We come back from chow. Big St. Louis, the big guy, was sitting up in the middle of the unit, wouldn't walk in. His eyes were like this, all closed. Wouldn't walk in, some PC or something, what do you think? So that, and then there was one more with a Jamaican kid. On the compound. He was in Unicor. I worked on the sewing machines in there. And he did something wrong. He wouldn't give us, every month the guy would give us out how much we made for the month that's coming next week. We can make a list out. Yeah. But the white guy that did it left, and the Jamaican guy wouldn't give none of us. So I went up and said something to him. So I'm in the bathroom, and so we're getting rid of the beef. He pulls out a pair of scissors. So I grabbed the partition between the 2 the urinals, and I started smashing his toes with him. Grabbed the knife. Richie Brennan came in and grabbed it too, and broke it up too from me. So that was kind of the only 2 real serious problems there. But he did.
You had a good crew up there.
Oh yeah, they had a real good.
And it's funny too because between Keith, Richie, Stevie, these guys were out here like it's the percent of people that like, recidivism's real, and alcohol and drugs are real, death is real, you know what I mean? Some guys never come home, but like the guys that he was with, a lot of them, they're still out here, and they were able to adapt to fucking, because it's, you go away for X amount of years, you know what I mean? It's different,
Well, you got everybody got your back too. You got to all keep together and get your back, and you got to make sure that no one gets steps out of line.
Yeah, no,
because then it causes problems. Right?
Yeah, right.
We had the Boston guys with us too for something else happened. Robert Russell and them at a major thing. We were all down the aisle, and then.
So and it's funny too because I had a beef with the DC black and all the Boston black guys, they all showed up in the yard. They, Stevie squashed that, but the head Muslim dude from DC wasn't happy that they all stood there while I punished the kid.
We had that.
And but it was funny to see, like you talk about busing, right? Yeah. And growing up in that era, like outsiders can like put that stigma of like they say it about Boston with sports. It's a racist city. It's like. You don't get to fucking say that, bro. And I don't believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we can adapt, we don't have problems with black people. We have a problem with fucking ignorance or forced agenda. Or a forced agenda, like any other human being, Yeah. And then it's all for politics. It's all for show. It's all for like, look what's going on here. And it's like, you talked about the same thing, the busing, like, and people were making like a black-white thing. No, not at all. Now you're on the fence and you have a beef, and the black guys are showing up for you because you're from fucking Boston, right? So where's the racism in that,
Yeah, we had Trevor Watson. The kid Trevor Watson?
Yeah.
The one Paul Pierce.
The one that went away for,
Yeah, Trevor and Terry Love and a couple other people, they were all close to us.
It's funny, we had a guy on Mort Beasley, shout out to Mort, but we were talking about the whole Benzino thing, and we got his attention, ruffled some feathers, because, a lot of people are giving him...
Well, people are trying to stay relevant. You talk. The thing is, whether it's Benzino, whether it's this person or that person, it's like it's cringeworthy, But at the same time, it's almost like it's offensive in a way where it's like, listen, you're putting yourself, you're forcing it, you're putting yourself in our face, right? And I don't want to see, I guess you don't have to watch it or this and that, but it's like. They're so comfortable. Like the comfortability, it's like
that was the government. It was a government experiment. That's what it didn't work out, and they kept with it.
Yeah.
Like not right now. You see the public schools; they don't have any money. You got to bring your own toilet paper. Paper towels and crayons and this and that. And if they didn't pay for buses every day with gas and this and that and everything else, the kids went to their own schools and neighborhoods and stuff. They'd have more money in the school systems and stuff, right? But it's just that whole thing was just ruined a lot of our lives, you know what I mean?
And that was historical. I mean, that went, and it was all like you said, like look at what the media was doing back then, even now, and the influence it has, fake news and all this shit. I don't know politics, but I know, you can't fucking escape it, right?
Yeah.
And the shit that they were doing, like to suit a narrative, right?
Jerry's a Trump guy, right? You're a Trump guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now that's what I was just gonna say when you said that. They made up that deal now.
Yeah.
You know what they say now, right? 'Cause since they all testified against Whitey, but it's not really testifying because you can't rat on a rat. Oh. That was their new rule they made up for fucking Whitey trial. All them guys that ratted, you can't rat on a rat, so I gotta tell them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to change the rules.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You're gonna make up a new one right now.
That's in stone since fucking.
So who was it? It was Moderano, Weeks,
there was
a bunch of them.
Yeah, it was a bunch of them. And then,
it's actually funny.
But
one of the next guests we're having on, his son, his father was Brian Halloran.
Oh, really?
In the movie, yeah.
Okay,
he had to take the stand as a kid.
Hey,
Justin Halloran.
That actor in that movie, I don't know his name, I forget it, but he played that part.
Yeah,
awesome.
Geeked up in the bathroom and shit, running into the room, and he's like, "I got shit for you," and then Kevin,
them guys,
Conley was fucking.
That's the cop Conley. Yeah, but their narrative too is like you were just saying. They use the media. They got contacts now in the media. You had Howie Carr writing books about them, writing articles and shit about them for how many years, right? All of a sudden he's gonna write Moderano's books and he becomes a monster himself. If you see him now, he talks like he's a monster.
Yeah.
And then you got Shelley Murphy. Shelley Murphy does the same thing. You got Emily Sweeney. She writes all the mob books, the stories out of newspaper articles and stuff. And then she has patented on another one that says how to become a mob boss. They got a show. How to become a mob boss.
Well, you know what's funny too that you say that. I was just thinking, you know, me and Deb went on this kid's show. He has a big podcast, Ian Bick, right? He did like a little, he had white collar, like a fraud thing or whatever. He's running a club or whatever. Smart kid, you know, but he ended up doing like a skid bit in the feds or whatever, or in Danbury or something. But it's people, like I say, the entertainment part of it, right? People really don't care whether it's fucking real or fake. And the fact of the matter is this, right? The real, it's hard to make the real entertaining, right? Because it's really ugly, right?
Yeah.
You want to sit here and you want people to open up and entertain you, right? But there's certain things that can't be talked about. There's certain things that
That's why they use the media.
do you understand what I'm saying? And there's people like, oh, I want to hear about, my thing was, you know, oh, I want to hear about the Oxycontin and this and that. It's like, that doesn't even register in my head. Like, I'm here, you know what I mean? If anything, I'm here to spread a message of like, listen, I went through adversity and, you know, I'm home, I survived it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I learned that fucking, I don't have to live like that.
Yeah.
And I certainly, you know, and that I can actually live a life, you know,
Yeah.
without drinking, without drugging. As corny and cliche as that sounds, that's my fucking story, right?
Yeah.
And like, but to us, it's profound because for so long, we thought we were having fun.
Yeah.
You know?
I know what
We thought we were having
Who
fun.
thought about Social Security and pensions and all that stuff? Anybody?
No.
Right?
No.
We never thought about that.
Absolutely.
You know, and then you're 30 years old and you're just
blink.
starting a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you. And one thing I want to say real quick too is you're the first guest that brought the paperwork. You got pictures, and you stood tall. You did your thing, and stuck to the morals, stuck to the code.
I think I think moving forward, we should do that with our ex-cons. We should do that. You know,
Yeah, because I got pictures. You're going to see
Didn't Bean
them.
Shooter say he's going to stop pulling paperwork and pulling paperwork? You don't
Yeah.
even know what he's... I heard he might have a bad case up north. But no, that, you know, like I said about the stories that the newspaper write for him, right? You know how I know this? So, back in the day, when I first got out of prison, Eddie McKenzie, you know, street soldier.
Yeah.
Right. He's a pathological liar, all exaggerations. He had a hot tub molesting little girls, a two-way mirror in his gym up there in the little girls' room. He was a maggot, right? So I went with, this is before the shit at the fan, when I knew everything that was going on with Pat and them, right? So I went over to Jay's on Columbus Ave, the sushi place over there. We met Shelly Murphy from the Boston Globe. So we sat down and told her the truth about Eddie McKenzie, how he's full of shit and this and that and everything else. So she put an article out that he lost his first book deal. And then he had to go up to Phil Karash up there in Maine and got the book deal done up there.
Yeah.
So that's how I know they used the paper to put their,
Oh,
their
100%.
shit. You know what I mean? They cover their own asses.
Yeah.
And you know, and you think about the entitlement or the egotistical. It's like how much like. My thing is this, right? If I couldn't look at myself in the mirror, it's not about what, you know what I mean? As a kid, right? Maybe like a little mindset of like, you know, all right, proving yourself or something like that, right? And then and then after you suffer from like proving yourself, right? Then you're like, if I can't look at myself in the mirror, it has nothing to do with anyone else, right?
Yeah.
I might as well eat one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Well-
that's what it's about, you know?
Oh.
But these people, how do you, wow, like, are you embarrassed? Like Sebastian Maniscalco would say.
Yeah.
There's no shame, it's like, that's,
Yeah.
See, that's why I try to decipher, sometimes explain, like, most common citizens and street people won't understand what we're talking about, but they like the aurora of the crime or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
They think it's cool.
So your people look at you like you're some dirtbag or something like that, right? No, you don't understand. It's a different type of life that there's firemen, there's police, there's citizens and all that. We all know that. A lot of people, there's all mixed intermingled, but there's a group of guys that just, that's how they grew up and that's what happened. You know what I mean? We all thought it was right. We all thought it was normal.
I love that you said that because you couldn't have said it better. There are like different, that's, people, if you don't know, they wouldn't know, right? Nor should they. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But like you said, you can't, you know, generalize and put people into this category because we're actually the minority, right? Like the guys that like, you know, got in trouble or whatever, you know, and but always knew since day one. You know what I mean? Like it was that was never even a question. You know, what's that mean? Like you said, when they came to ask you to give a statement, that's more insulting than anything. You know what I mean? Like it's like almost like you said a week later, like it's almost like, are you fucking shitting me? You know? But you can hang your hat. You would never. You're not supposed to get points for not telling, right? But it's become so common in this society that it's almost like, no, you know what? It does count for something, you motherfuckers, because yous are making it where it's like okay to do that, right? The fucking Francese or that's why I love Joey Molino, right? We gotta get him. We gotta hook up with him.
I'm trying.
Listen. And he
we'll take a trip out to Philly, Jerry.
But I love it. And some of the things that he comes up with, right? He's quick, right? He's sharp, and you know he got a good he's like almost like in the MMA world, like a McGregor, you know. But like he says, we can go anywhere, right?
Yep.
That's to me and to you. I know that hits so deep, right? It means more than just like that's not just a statement. Like physically, of course, but we can go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're free.
See,
We're free.
When
Even in a prison setting.
when I know the real story about someone and I see them fucking lying on a podcast, literally just blatantly to cover their own ass and stuff, that's what kind of turned me. Now I'm listening to a bunch, and I'm looking, I'm like, what are these people? Some of these people are, right? And so then I said, my mother and everybody, no disrespect to my family talking about all this either, because my family is one of the best. They stuck with me for my whole life. No matter what, they would be there for me. You know?
I
And
love
my
that
mother kind of is a little maybe upset. She's, I don't want you doing podcasts.
Well, so here's the thing. And
don't say nothing that goes on in the house.
Right.
Remember that?
Right. Well, because you want to talk about this, our parents would knock around people, right?
Yeah.
Like they were citizens, but they knock around people. When the feds came to my house, like they weren't letting me leave without, it was like they gave my father the option to take a ride with them, right? And I'm like, no, I'm staying here. Oh no, to take me with them by myself, and right away, like my parents knew, you know what I mean? Like they knew they knew that you know what I mean? They were protecting me, but they weren't, they would. I remember my mother says to me one time, she comes to see me in the feds, right? They'd like this. There was a kid from the neighborhood, right? He did some, sexual shit with kids, and it was found out, and they ran the family out of town. And I remember it came up in conversation. My mother says to me, right? She says, Joe, I love you. She's in Pennsylvania. They'd come once a year. She goes, yeah. She's like, I love you, but if you ever did anything like that, she goes, I have to disown you. And I gave her a high five. I go, you're fucking right. Of course. I go, yeah, don't worry about it. You got nothing to worry about
That's
that.
awesome. So Jerry, you got in the union, Ironworkers Union, Local 7, after you came home?
Yeah, they wouldn't let me in Boston, so I had to go to Lawrence Farm. And
Okay.
I wasn't supposed to get a halfway house because I was.
What was the Lawrence Farm like, real quick?
It was good.
Was
Terry
it?
Marks was one of it at the time. It was
Okay.
a great place.
Okay.
I got to get on the train myself and go to work and come back every night. and all that stuff,
Yep.
It's
It's one of them things that helps a lot of people. Helps people if you're willing to receive the help.
Yeah.
So then my ex-wife was hanging around with guy Jay Hurley that was running the union and stuff. And they were his wife and friends and stuff. And so they were talking to him about it. And so when I got home, he told me to come down and see him. And within a week, I was on my first job.
Yeah.
The stacks over in Everett.
No shit.
The 2 smoke stacks.
Yeah.
They told me, you don't have to go up high at first. Don't worry about it. You work your way up. I was at the top of the stack in a spider basket my first job.
I love hearing that, though, because to me,
Best thing
that's what, when I say it counts for something, like, right, you come home, and like those little victories, they're huge for someone like us, right?
It brought me right to where I am today. I wouldn't.
We don't see it when it's happening, but when you look back, you're like, listen, if you didn't have the character you did, and the morals, values, and principles that were instilled in you, the ones that you've carried, that wouldn't have happened. These little things that we're not guaranteed anything, but people know.
And it's funny too because it's like people not listening, like just the backstory, right? I met you very briefly at a meeting on Divine Way, and it was right shortly after my grandfather passed away. Bernie Donovan, great man, iron worker, my role model growing up, and like it's just funny that connection, right?
Yeah.
And like here we are, and it's like
no coincidences.
That getting in the ironworkers union was the first actual real job that I kept for 25 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I did well. My first year apprentice, they made me at that job at the stacks. There was an out-of-town company, and I tuned them all off as a first-year apprentice because I called the hall. They were all out of town. They were all doing our work, ironworkers. And they were scary. They had holes all the way up on the plank, whatever. So they come down, they threw everybody off. They sent a bunch of local 7 guys to me. He says, Jerry, you're the new steward. Second job.
You found your niche.
Second job, they made me a foreman for 4 years. I was top of the local.
That's all
with
we
the
need,
2
I
top
say.
guys.
All people like us need is an opportunity, right? And like,
But you gotta
and
want to.
Devin has said before, you know, he comes out with some gems. I say he's an old soul. He says when that opportunity comes, like, are you gonna be ready or not? You know what I mean? And like that's the thing. They're gonna come,
Yeah.
but are you gonna receive it? You're gonna
Absolutely.
acknowledge it and then be able to receive it.
100%.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
it's, you
See,
don't,
the dogs are good. The dogs
you don't
calm
get
down.
help.
Dogs calm
you
down.
don't get help
Yeah.
anymore like that by many people to get.
What's this one's
No.
names again?
That's Junior.
Yeah, Junior's over there smoking a cigarette after fucking
Snoozing.
after what he just did to fucking Wally over there.
That was
Jesus.
banging her in the corner.
He's over there smoking a cigar.
So
Jerry's talking about a prison fight and fucking dogs getting fucking back blown up.
one more quick story.
You're good.
I gotta tell you this one. It has a little bit to do about Joey too. In the '99 shooting. Okay?
Oh, yeah. The 99 in Charlestown,
Yeah.
correct?
All right, so do you remember the cousin that was the only one that lived until sitting out front with the shot in the stomach, Ricky Sarro?
Yeah.
All right. So Ricky Sarro and the Luisis, they had a little issue with my cousin, which I didn't know. The De Blasi's, my Italian side of the family, they owned a restaurant over there, the cousins, and they were shaking them down. You know, they were asking them shaking them down. That's what they did, their own people.
Yeah. That's right.
So now I'm in Fort Dix, and I get a phone call. I'm on the phone with someone. They says, "Hey, there's a kid, Ricky Sarro, coming. Can you tell everybody to keep an eye out for him? He's one of us." You know, I was like, "Yeah, no problem." Now at the time, no one was around because everybody was in jail.
Yeah.
Bobby Luisi, the one that found God, the minister, right? He went down to Joey with 300,000 cash and got made down there, right? Basically, it's the story.
Yeah.
So Joey was like, okay.
Yeah.
So he's up in Boston.
Yeah.
For him.
Oh, you want to be me? All right.
Yeah.
Hey, get the prayer card. Get the fucking burn that shit.
Prick his finger right now.
Joey betted on fucking the Sixers that night.
Put
On the
it
Eagles.
You put on the fucking Sixers money line.
So listen, so now he's walking around the compound with the big cigar, right? Sarro. And he's got 2 Philly kids, big kids, you know. Young kids, but big.
Yeah, juiced up.
He's like, my cousin Bob, he's running the show in Boston now. He's at the chow hall table talking all this nonsense about Darren Buffalino and all them guys.
Yeah.
Telling pieces of shit. I guess those guys asked to look out for you.
Yeah.
So I got the message back, and the next day they goes, "Can Jerry take care of that?" I said, "Yeah, I'll take care of it." So my unit in Fort Dix was right across from the commissary. So I come out of the building, I knew he was at the commissary. I said, "So we'll grab him and tell him I want to talk to him. I got a message from him." So he comes around the corner with the 2 Philly guys, you know. I'm like, "Well," he goes, "You got a message from me?" I go, "Yeah." Boom! On his teeth, all right. You started a war in Boston, he says. That wasn't a sanctioned hit. I go, sanctioned hit? I go, that black shit isn't my rules. And he was pulling all you. So now he's over next door where Jackie Cherry was. And he's over there in front of the comp station and everything running his mouth. He said, okay. Now there's a long corridor in the units, so we're on the end. So I grabbed the top of the mop ringer. I grabbed the top piece. And I ran down the hallway full force in his unit. He turned around, looked at me, and I went, I can smash! And we both ended up in the hole. And then
Was this Gerard that did this or Jerry?
That was.
What are you thinking, homebrew?
No. Almost happened to a kid from Charlestown too, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
You said you were in Devon's with Angulo?
Yeah.
Hey, tell him this.
Jerry's a
tell him about him washing his balls.
Jerry's a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid guy, but he was picking people's brains, you know.
Yeah.
Because he knew about the slouch, the Irish guy, you know.
Yeah.
So he picked my brains at night too, like we're going.
Yeah.
You know. But no one wanted to live with him because the light, and he did law work all night.
Yeah.
So you get up in the
Richie Brenner was roommates with him too.
Yeah, they kept switching us around because no one wanted to alone.
Hey, just,
I mean, not that he's not a great
just
guy.
imagining that dude. I love
So
it.
listen, you get up in the morning, he's in the sink with a sponge. right, like this. I'm like, fucking Jerry. He's like, get up. Right, so he puts the towel over him and he starts walking across the unit. And there's a female screw in there. And she says, Mr. Angulo, you can't do that. fuck you, this is my house. You put me here. He says, you put me here and I'll do what I want. He says.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks before I go out, I got a yellow slip in the mail.
Yeah.
And it's for $500. It's from the Hunt. So I'm not living with him. So I go back over. And I said, Jerry, you don't have to do this. Typical Italian. He says, don't tell me what you have to do. Go out there and get a pair of sneakers and a sweatsuit and get on your feet, he says. I says, does it come with the pepper or the horn? He's like, get out of here. Yeah. Yeah, but the other one was there too, the one that looked like the clown from the Mercurial. And it was weird that everybody was still hanging, but they all were trying to pick his brains about the information they were saying. So it was just a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they put everybody in with each other at Fort Devens.
Yeah. Well, you talk about like living like that, the paranoia that fucking comes with it. Like, this, like I say, like that's what sobriety's given me too. Like, especially the recovery aspect, where it's like just not to have to worry about that shit, even to give it any thought, because at the end of the day, it never meant anything. Really.
I mean, I just thought of a couple of people telling me that the other Irish guy there from Southie's had some health problems real bad lately.
Oh, shit.
So it's probably his guilt killing him from inside. Because no one wants to tell you, but he knows what he did. You know what I mean? But whatever. This isn't like personal. This is just to make sure that people know that these guys are nothing but liars, and the government was the biggest dirtball, maggot mob.
Yes.
Worse than them.
Yes.
And that's what they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right.
They gave, like I said, they gave them the same.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like me and Devin, when we started this, it's like one of the reasons why, you know, seeing all this stuff on social media and seeing it out there, like the fucking the silly shit, the fraudulence. It's like, you know, and we said like, all right, you get a voice, okay, right? If you're talking, I'm definitely fucking talking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you get to fucking speak and fucking,
that's what I
right? I'm gonna speak the truth.
We're
right?
gonna keep it real,
right? So we'll speak the truth, and that's how we combat it. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
you can't fuck up the truth.
No,
the truth hurts.
Yeah. The
like
truth
that.
hurts.
Check that out, baby.
Yeah. Jerry
Yeah,
Yanovitch.
soon, hopefully soon.
This has been awesome, man. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot more to go.
Yeah, Jerry.
no,
Listen, and we'd love to come on your show.
I'll get a little organized this time.
Yeah. Well, no, this is just the beginning. You know, we're gonna get a studio and we're, you know, all of it, and yeah, man, it's been awesome, and it's nice to see, like, you know, you guys, all of us really lived through whatever madness we went through, came out the other side. Yeah. You know, and I know you, like you said, your family's everything to you today. And
if I had moved to New Hampshire, I'd probably be in prison already right now. You know what I mean?
Well, so, and the thing, I'm glad that you brought up your family as far as
disrespect on them.
Of course, because listen, my family, same thing. I was raised the same way, right? Yeah. Family, good people, well respected, right? And you know, maybe we were the black sheep, but that wasn't the case. Where it's like, our family never left us. You know what I mean? We ran wild or whatever, but they were always there when we needed them. And I say, like, you know, we're here today or whatever, like the morals, values, and principles, like why we don't, you know, like, you don't fucking, you don't hurt another person, you know what I mean? Certainly not maliciously. And, you know, what's right is right. We know wrong from right, and we learned that from them.
Yeah.
And I think that you saying it, right, I needed to hear it too, because it's like, it's hard for us to express ourselves and communicate, right? We struggle with that. I'll speak for myself. Yeah. Where it's like, and you know, my mother, like, for example, she rules the fucking house, right? She's the she's like you know, she's the one that we answer to. She's the matriarch, and she you know, she has my back. She's doing anything for me, right? And I know that she wants to be. But she gets nervous because, like, we you know, they suffered trauma. We put them through fucking the ringer, right, based on our selfish actions, and then they're like, oh shit, like we're kind of a wild card. So it's gonna take time. But I want them to know that, like, listen, we're here, like, we're speaking our truth, right? Yeah. This isn't about. There's no agenda. There's no motive. There's no you know, looking for fame, this and that. Whatever organically happens, as far as, like, listen. Hey, YouTube wants to throw us a couple bucks, whatever, fucking, hey, we'll take it, you know what I'm saying? But, like, as far as, like, embarrassing our family and stuff like that, like...
We've already done it.
Right.
100 walks to a store.
And as far as, like, people, it's like, well, be careful what you say. It's like, listen, I got the memo, right? Like, There's nothing that's gonna come out of this mouth that you need to worry about, right?
Yeah.
You know, and
Like my mother's
I want to
always,
reiterate that.
my mother would say all the time, Jerry, you gotta write a book. You gotta write a book.
Yeah.
The stories, and then she'd tell her friends, but then when I say to her, shut up.
And I'm sure you're a great writer from being away.
No,
Because,
I don't write.
No?
I haven't written Anthony a letter in about a year.
Well, let me ask you, let me put it this way. I always say I can write better than I can speak.
Journal.
Right? Yes, okay.
I can speak better.
You
Right.
just eat your base.
No.
Shut
But
up.
like
Talk.
I can't sit down and write. She's sneezing. She's sneezing.
Did he?
No, it's funny though
She might have
because
ate my
for
vape.
two guys that smoke dust, Joe always we call it angel dust disorder for the people with
ADD, yeah.
angel dust
I
disorder.
glitch out.
He'll start talking, he'll glitch out. It hasn't happened this episode.
No, because I'm with my.
He's with his people. He's
Yeah,
with his
right.
tribe.
Angel dust.
We
that I
speak
have
the
been
same
busted.
language, right? I know how his mind works.
Yeah.
Angel dust that I have been busted. 20 years out of my life, I've been rusted.
That's coming out the LP.
That was while we were stoned sitting there, you know. But I mean, it's all a joke, right? But it's really not. When
Yeah.
you think about it.
But there's something we said.
You
though.
earn the right to
We
laugh
can-
about it though.
We can laugh about
Oh,
it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that right there is a superpower.
Well, I always said that I was going to live in the woods. I always said it growing up because we were New Hampshire all the time and this and that. And, you know, I get up into the woods and it's a different world. It's it's quiet a lot, especially this time of year when 3 o'clock it's dark and you're in the middle of the mountain. You're like walking around the house. But now I got so much to do, I can put my whole house.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I always wanted to live there. But I truly believe that I should have been there a long time before this because of, you know, like I said, the vacuum and the madness. It was like a
Right.
suction cup.
Right. That's all you knew.
Yeah.
That's all you knew. That's what
Yeah.
they. I mean, there's truth in that. Product of environment, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't excuse anything, right? I made
Yeah.
choices,
Yeah.
but I always say, like, if I grew up in Wellesley, yeah, maybe I would have got into criminal activity somehow, right? But chances are I wouldn't have did banks or trucks or fucking because that wasn't that wasn't a thing. It was because of the environment that I grew up in. So no matter where you are,
You know what's funny is I ended up a member of the Halligan Club because of my father's friends, the Mullens, Jackie Mansfield, and actually Red Noonan from Charles,
Red
and all them. So I hung out with them too. That's the type of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fucking, they were great. Those were guys. Those were men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these other slouches, you can't rat on a rat. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a new rule. I gotta put that in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
It's been great, man. I gotta fucking go to work. It sucks.
it's overrated.
Overrated
Yeah,
work.
we'll
No, but
lie.
shout out to Rock and Recovery. Shout out to 0% Clothing. Shout out to Janko Dad, Marky Goodman. They'll be on eventually. We'll see. First South Boston guest.
Yeah,
Know where this
yeah.
came from too.
Yes.
This was great.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna get better. I'll be a
Absolutely.
little more organized. I was a little nervous coming in here today. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But
I don't know how I'm nervous. You know
No,
what
I know.
The truth hurts.
Right,
The
no,
truth
but you know
hurts.
what it is we're
Well, people are telling me, Jerry, you're gonna have the feds coming after you.
Jerry,
You're
check it
not-
out though. Yeah, because people
know?
love to fucking everyone got a fucking opinion, right?
Yeah.
At least like
When you
you can have an opinion, but like fucking just speak the truth.
Freedom of
That's
speech,
what we
baby.
talk about.
Freedom of
And the
speech.
one thing that I say is, you coming out here being nervous. It's like
He's so happy. Look
we're
at
so
her.
we're so, like the shit that we do, like step out there and like put our lives on the line, essentially, right? Like not give a fuck, right? For whatever reasons, and like then like little things that we would never talk, right? That we walk into with a little bit of anxiety and fear, right? Where it's like we're learning that, dude. I learn every day these little things, right? I'll do shit that people are like, "Good, what? You did what?" And it's like, but then I'll be in a room full of too many people. I'll be like, get a
It's
little,
like me working on the house right now, right? I know I can do this stuff.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm getting this. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
It's like the inner child shit. dude.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. But no, I appreciate it. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm hoping to get mine up and running
Absolutely.
soon.
That's how
For
my
the
daughter
first
tell
video.
your brother.
We're all
tell
gonna get out to Philly too and get in contact with Joey Molino. That would
Yes,
be fucking
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be sweet.
He'll love that story I told him.
Yeah.
And then I was with the guy that ratted on him, Roger Vella.
And it's funny, real quick. There's a new documentary on Netflix supposedly
watched
that
it,
came out,
stupid.
and Joey didn't subscribe to it,
Yeah, he
co-sign it.
didn't-
He
he
wasn't
didn't
happy
He's
He's
about
talking
it.
about the new one about him and Bruno.
I believe so.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'd like to get on and trying to get them online so I can talk to them online
Yeah,
and tell
yeah.
them what I'm talking about.
See, I've been we've been pretty fortunate in the aspect of like reaching out to people and getting their attention for what it's worth. Because I think
was just down there with him.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
no shit.
He asked me, he told you want to do something with me? I said, yeah. I don't know. I want to get my own out there too.
Yeah. In any way we could help at all.
I mean, I got it started.
Yeah.
Well, see, and like I said, at the end of the day, you know, I always say, like, you know, you hear it in AA a lot. You know, people say, like, you know, speak about the message and the solution. It's like, I don't know about you, but where I'm from, like, I love a good story, right? You know, and I tell terrible ones because I want details when I'm, you know, I like to hear details. So when I try to tell them, I'm like, people are like, Joe, where you going with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's how I am.
Right. But you have, you know, it's not about war stories. It's about, like, fucking, this was how it was, and this is how it is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it not glorifying any of that bullshit, right?
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, that's like when that book came out, All Souls from Southie, right?
Yeah.
No one liked it. No one liked it because most of it was true. Most of it.
Yeah.
There was some exaggeration there, I know, because I was with my guy. I was there when he dropped his mescaline on the ground at Illusions, disco, and all this stuff. His sister fell off my roof as I'm standing there, hit the little roof, and hit the stairs that were trying to climb in the project windows.
Wow.
So she hit the roof. The other one, brother jumped off the roof down Patterson Way. Yeah, craziness.
Crazy
we
shit,
grew up with,
yeah.
You know? Yeah.
No, you're right. But we're here, buddy. We survived.
Yeah.
Survivors.
And people are upset too. People are upset about that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but that's all right.
Yeah.
See, that's why when that guy kept calling Howie saying I was bothering him after I found out about his deal, Howie kept calling me and meeting me saying, Jerry, leave the guy alone. He's either going to have you arrested for something you didn't do,
Yeah.
or you're going to have, like Johnny, have somebody do something, which... Come on up to my property, man.
Yeah, right.
Step
You
on
can't
the
kill the
property.
willing.
You know we're living in New Hampshire, right?
Live free or die, baby.
All right, guys. Lace up all lay down. Gangster
All right,
lace
recovery,
up.
baby. See you next time.
Can't go to sleep, you know I gotta keep my eyes open. But I've been smoking, that's the reason why my eyes closed. I'm from a city where the sleepers never make it. Risk your life and they gon' take it. Have you stuck up in that time zone? Like I can't help but always think about that time gone. Too many people I done lost, I'm trying to find home. I'm from a city where the sleepers never make it. Risk your life and they gon' take it. Have you stuck up in that time zone?